Hey, beautiful people. It is 2:25 p.m. on May the 3rd, 2015. And what a trip this has been since I did my last video. We have, that was just right around Easter, and we were just having a frequency increase coming in, a new note being 7 full notes and 5 half notes in every octave, and we've had 3 full notes this month coming in, 3 full different and dramatic frequency increases happen just in this past month. it's almost mind-boggling. For those of us who are way showers and guardians and bodhisattvas that are holding the light and frequency, it's our mission to integrate those new physical frequencies and light levels in our body, and used to, between when the frequencies started increasing dramatically right around 1992, after we opened the 1111 doorway, and with each gateway we had a different frequency increase. Those frequencies were about every year and a half, every 18 months between them. And here, in less than a month, we've had 3. It is most amazing. And for those of us who attune to the energies, and we're like, I call myself a walking antenna. I receive the energies, I integrate the energies, embody them, and I send them back out. For those of us that do that, to have 3 full note changes within 1 month, it's kind of amazing to go through. Sometimes it's the body feels quite fatigued in what we're doing. For me, I tend to do more heavy physical labor in what I'm doing with my work, and less having to focus on the mental, doing more things that are more instinctual, and less things that are of the real technical nature. That's the easiest way for me to deal with it. But 3 in 1 month. And every time we receive the energies, we have to assimilate them into our bodies and ground them. I'd written a post yesterday, and many people commented on it when I posted it to Facebook, and somebody who's new to my work says, "Bill, you got to ground." I'm probably one of the most grounded people I know. And that's part of holding the higher frequencies and getting in touch with the higher levels of self. You have to be grounded. It is a circuit. It's an biochemical process this body is going through as we integrate and assimilate the higher levels of us and those higher frequencies. It's a higher current. It's a higher wattage. It is an electric circuit, and you have to be grounded. About 3 years ago, I had described my sensations as I was attuning to my archangel level of myself, my Michael side of me, and I was really integrating that level. What I saw is I was grounding to the cosmos as well as being grounded to Earth. Now, I've just put a new high amp alternator in my truck. I had to replace the last high amp alternator, but in so doing this, I rewired the whole thing. And when you get to a certain level of amperage, you just can't ground to one side. You just can't ground just to Mother Earth. You have to ground to the cosmos and to Mother Earth. There has to be a direct line between the two. And just like I wired my truck, I had to do that with my own physical self, my own spiritual self, over these past years. So I'm very grounded. It's not that I'm not, and that's why I'm attuning to the higher energies. It's because it's my choice to go through this ascension process consciously and to hold the highest levels of light and frequency I possibly can integrate with in this physical form. That is my mission here on the planet. I know a lot of people haven't felt the energies. I've got a lot of persons that are commenting saying they don't feel it like some of us do. And you have to look at what your thought and your perception, what your dream is to do. I needed that. Water really helps you to handle the frequencies too. You've got to think of your body as an electro biochemical being, like a big electrobio battery. And you've got to keep water in it. You've got to keep electrolytes in it, and you have to stay grounded. And that's just part of the process. For persons that are telling me that they don't feel these frequencies and that don't understand this process that many of us are going through, I have to ask, since this is a quantum universe, what your perception of ascension is. Many persons have felt that Jesus was coming to save them, that there was going to be a great rapture if you were part of this religion or that, or you had this faith or belief system or that. And I've discussed what belief systems are. It's not, ascension is not something that's happening from the outside in, it's something that's happening from the inside out. And it's our thoughts and emotions and our levels of consciousness that we can obtain because of the light levels and the frequency levels, which expand into the consciousness levels, that allows us to have higher messages and higher levels of understanding. And first you've got to change your belief systems and break out of the box, break out of the jail cell. Each and every person holds their own key, and you have to want to go through your ascension process to go through it. Many people years ago, in one of my last videos, I had a bunch of persons coming down on me saying I was coming down on the yogis. I come down on everybody. Years ago I was coming down. It's because I've got to speak the truth. I've got to say what I see and what I know and what is going on in the reality that I'm experiencing, that involves the reality of what other persons are trying to describe. Years ago, I had many light workers coming down on me because I was telling them ETs are not coming here to land and to put you in the chambers and go through your ascension process and it's going to be all done for you, or the ascended masters aren't going to just descend from the sky into this dense level of vibration that it was back then, and it's ever increasing now, so we're raising the frequencies of the planet. But it's not up for anybody else to come here and do our ascension for us. It's up to each and every person. And when I was saying the ETs aren't coming and there's no little chambers that we're going to in Argatha to go through our ascension process, and the ascended masters aren't just going to be dropping in, Maitreya's not coming here to teach us. The Christ consciousness, the persons that have attained the Christ consciousness are walking, talking ascended masters here on the planet right now, and they're describing, I love the pelicans, and they're describing the process of ascension. In the process of ascension, each and every person has to make a choice to go through with their process, and there is going to be a step-by-step initiation process that is going to be the same as we go through our transfiguration of our physical vessel. It's not something that happens overnight. You have to make the choice. Persons that are saying they're not feeling it, I have to ask you, what has been your choice? Are you waiting on someone to do it for you? Do you think that there's going to be a group of avatars come from the sky that's going to do it for you, or teach you how to do it, or make it easier for you? I say no. I said no a long time ago. It pissed a lot of light workers off. But that's just the way it is. My last video pissed off a lot of the food Nazis because they're believing we can change the world by making everybody go vegetarian or vegan or raw foodie, and it's just amazing how that belief system really has a lot of violence within it. These guys need to join the U.S. military and go to Iraq and Afghanistan and go fight because they sure want to fight. We have to allow everybody to have their own belief systems, no matter what it is, so that they can find their own way through and into the ascension process. But there's a lot of people out there now that are newly awakening and feeling the energies, and they're going, oh, we're supposed to be here to enjoy the planet. Well, that's fine and dandy if you want to do that, but that's not necessarily the ascension process. The ascension process is about integrating the higher levels of self, that which you descended from, the ascending from that which you descended from. and that is a process. Each level of it we have to integrate, and each level of it we're just hitting a higher and a higher note, a higher frequency. There are many notes within each dimensional frequency, and that's what I was saying about what's happened this past month. There's been 3 full note shift. I've never experienced that before. We had that which was coming in at the first of the month in the Easter Gateway and Portal, and then we had a filament eruption from the sun a little over 2 weeks ago now. And when that filament hit the weakened magnetosphere here on Earth, at the same time that we had oh shoot, what was it? Something else on the cosmos went down, and we were getting beamed with a lot of other cosmic rays coming in. And anyway, all of those frequencies get enhanced very greatly when the magnetosphere is down and collapsing. And right now we're coming into the Wesak energies, and Wesak's usually the celebration of Buddha's incarnation or enlightenment, depending on how you look at it and whose belief system. But it usually comes in with this first full moon in May, and it's kind of interesting to see the Nepalese earthquake that unfolded just a couple of days ago. That was 8+ on the Richter scale. And then, just like Ben Davidson, suspicious observers has witnessed, a lot of times when we have earthquakes, a major one on one side of the planet, it'll ripple around and cause pressure on the other side of the planet. And yesterday, we had a series of earthquakes that are in very, very rare places to have earthquakes in Michigan, and then down in through Mississippi, just a few miles north of where I am right now. And it was interesting to have another friend go to Google Earth and to look up the Nepalese earthquake where Nepal is on the globe, and you can see Nepal here and the North Pole up here. And when you look straight up and over from Michigan all the way down through the Mississippi, is the exact 180 degrees around the back side of the Earth. And we just had a series of earthquakes rippling out through this area yesterday, and that's most unusual, as the waves go around the planet and oscillate this side of the planet up and down the New Madrid earthquake fault. And at the end of this week, and actually on Saturday on May 9th, there's going to be a gathering of many of us up on at the heart of Turtle Island on the family farm for raising the frequencies there. And when you actually go looking at Nepal and up and over that North Pole, and what the center point of all those earthquakes that unfolded yesterday was, part of Turtle Island is pretty close to that center point. And we've got to go there to raise the frequencies. The earthquake that happened in Nepal is the releasing of some very old masculine dominating energies from the planet. And there's a very dense area of the United States, which is in the heart of the United States. It's, you know, you could call it the heart of Dixie. I know Alabama calls themselves the heart of Dixie, but you know, that area is really about the heart of Turtle Island, just north of Memphis, and that's where I'm being called to come be and raise frequencies, and many other persons are coming to join me there. And we're gonna, you know, I've done many videos talking about the research and development center that we are working on there for permaculture and aquaculture and for alternative energy projects and 3D printing and just all different types of off-grid projects. Anyway, many of us know and feel the need to come there to that heart of Turtle Island and to raise the frequency so that we don't have another major earthquake like happened in 1811, where, you know, the Mississippi River, it flowed backwards for 3 days because, you know, there was such a great earthquake that it just dropped everything for hundreds of miles around. I mean, there was not a tree left standing, so it was said. Those of us who do ceremonies, that's what we're helping to do, is to relieve the pressures on Mother Earth because of the imprinted negative emotions and the emotional traumas for hundreds of years of being repressed. And you know, good God, so much is going on in that area, from, you know, the Native Americans being marched out, Civil War, and, you know, the War of 1812, guys marching through that area, and slavery, and, you know, just all types of oppressions, and even previous civilizations up and down that area that somehow got moved out. All of those emotions are embedded into the earth, and those of us who are the walking, talking antennas and who are grounded are channeling the higher levels of energy into the earth and raising the frequency. And at the same time, those negative lower vibrations have to be released because we're channeling in the light and higher frequencies, and then all that purging has to come out. The spiritual distillation has to come up and out. So that's what it's all about. And wow, my body feels really, really fatigued right now. It's not that I'm overworked. It's not that I've got any type of not so good diet. My diet is great. I'm getting plenty of exercise, plenty of sunlight. I'm in, you know, great shape. But it's the level of frequencies that are coming through, being an antenna, as these levels of light channel in those lower vibrations. Also, in return, are coming up and through the field. And a lot of times that field is running straight through my body. It's really interesting to see what all has happened since in this past month, too. Many friends are or have other friends that are in the military that are being called to action to monitor all social media, and we've already seen a lot of that hitting in this past month. We've seen a lot of the government's infiltration of social media and causing havoc, creating false accounts, and just like the trolls used to do, coming on to our sites and to mess with us, to impregnate viruses into computer systems, or to erase messages that we put out. I had so many friends that have said that they receive my YouTube videos, that they're subscribed to them, and they never get them anymore, and they wonder what happened to me, and they come, looking for me, and they can find me when they look for me, but they don't receive my messages anymore. It's just like on Facebook. Many people say they can't see my messages anymore. It's because we have a government that's trying to stop messages from getting out. And my friend Lucas Christian's got hit. They crashed his computer. Brass Check TV got their computer crashed. Me, I had just pages and pages of my own videos and my own posts and that I've been sharing all get eliminated and erased, and it doesn't matter to me anymore. It's just a game we play, but it's showing as these vibrations are coming up that those persons that are still in their head and ego and trying to play a control and manipulation game are having their power slip away, and they're in freak out mode right now. So much to where they want to get the U.S. military calling up the Guard reservists to come play part of the cyber warfare team this summer. And it's interesting to have so many people, that some who actually know about Ascension and follow my work, others who know others that are getting called up, and to be a part of the attacks. I'm seeing it from all different sides in what I do. So it's the most interesting thing. As the frequencies increase, and I've noticed this in years past, but right now it is so critical because we've had 3 node increases within this month. Every time we have a super high frequency increase, it's like a shaken snow globe. And the design, the artwork that's at the center of the snow globe, you can't see because of all the blizzard that's going on because of that shaken snow globe. And you can't really see the picture of what the artwork is behind it until it all settles. And this whole past month, it's not been allowed to settle. And here in the past week, and it, see what it does is it's a spiritual purification. It's a spiritual distillation process that's going on. All the impurities has to come up and out and get reprogrammed into whatever higher level that we're landing into as the snow globe starts settling. And right now there's so much chaos going on out there, and people are, who are in their head are just trying to make sense of it all, and nothing is making sense. It can't, because we hadn't settled out. I've watched this happen so many times, but right now we're increasing in frequency so quickly that, there's a lot of things that really, really just don't resonate. And those of us who are even playing on the same level, who, I really admire, we're getting good messages, and we're getting much of the same messages, but I'm watching a lot of them just kick back and become quiet. They're pulling back as we're increasing frequency so fast right now, so rapidly right now. It's almost best just to stay quiet. I've noticed Muji saying that in several of his videos lately. Just be quiet and watch. It's interesting to see what's going on with my physical body also, because I'm shape-shifting so much. Every time I look in a mirror or pass by my reflection, it's like, who is that person that I'm seeing? this winter, somebody commented here on the last video, it's like, your hair is turning white. Well, it was. In 6 months, my hair went from blonde to white. There was no salt and pepper or anything like that. I've been salt and pepper before. My hair's been black before. My hair's been brown before. But my hair went from blonde last October to white in this March. Now it's going back somewhat blonde again. It's been really, really strange to see. I watch my body look like I'm very, very young at some times of the day to very old at other times of the day. I feel that way. I feel very, very young sometimes, and I can do the most incredible physical activity with no stopping, for hours and hours on end. And then there's the times where it's just like, God, I feel like I've been pulling a train. And it's really wild to experience what's going on right now. I'm also noticing all the persons disincarnating. This has been going on for a couple of months now. There is a huge wave of persons dropping body. They just can't handle these frequencies, or their mission is up and over and done. It's time to move on. There's something that I want to say about that, because there's a lot of people that are asking why it's so important to go through our ascension process right here and now. And a lot of these people believe in reincarnation, and most everybody is on the awakening process understands about the reincarnation that we've been going through, but they might not understand about Earth School. And you have to look at what, Team Dark or the Illuminati, our spiritual drill instructors, are doing to this planet right now, whether it be, Fukushima. Fukushima, you hear my sign? You hear that train? You better listen up. Where are you going to find a body for reincarnation? Fukushima is still spewing out so much radiation into the atmosphere, and we have such high radiation, in the foods we eat and in the air that we're breathing. There's a lot of sterilization that's occurring planet-wide right now just because of Fukushima radiation. Chernobyl is on fire right now. All around it, the whole forest, everything that was irradiated back in 1980s when Chernobyl was happening, that's all getting put into the atmosphere right now. All the chemtrails, which are not only aluminum oxide, but barium and strontium and other radioactive materials that's coming down and changing the pH levels here on the ground surface, and it's causing a lot of damage to a lot of the trees and the planets. It's changing the pH level and the whole ground around Earth. All of the chemtrails are helping to sterilize the planetary population. The ozone hole and the magnetosphere collapsing is allowing more radiations to come in. So yeah, that's not to mention the wars. That's not to mention the economic situations that we're in right now. If you believe in reincarnation and you think you can wait on your ascension for another couple of lifetimes, well, James Tiburon is saying, just like Maitreya said, just like Lee Carroll has said, it could take 3 to 4 lifetimes before a lot of persons on this planet actually go through their ascension process. Where are you going to find a good body if persons are getting sterilized? If persons here holding higher vibration decide they don't want to become karmically tied to the planet by having more children? And look at all the persons having babies with issues. Look at all the autism that's going on because of vaccines. And all the vaccine, Australia just this past week has come out saying that every single person in Australia is getting ready to get vaccinated, and that's the same thing here in the United States too. That's causing sterilization. With 7 billion people that are on the planet, that a good part of them not going through their ascension process are going to be dropping body because they can't hold on to the frequencies, and they're going to be looking for another body. Where are they going to find good bodies? You know, look at all the people, all the defects that are going on with children these days. Where are you going to find a decent body to come back into and go through your ascension process later? So, not cleaning up your own house and your own act right now in the middle of this ascension time when the frequencies are so high and you've got a good body, if you're still in your head, you might want to think about that one. I find it quite amusing because it's just logical that if you know about it now, keep your focus on what you're doing now. Build your house now while this house of cards around us is falling apart. Everybody on this planet who is incarnated right now has the ability to go through their ascension process. Ascension's really very simple. It's an ongoing process. It's a never-ending process. But to get out of the Earth School reincarnation cycle is really only hitting your 7th initiation. That's all it is. The 5th initiation is when you shift your consciousness from your head to your heart, and your heart chakra activates. The 6th initiation is when all 7 of the original chakras activate. The 7th initiation is when they expand 7 times, and your ascension chakra activates, and your chakras go 90 degrees from your antakarana to form the ascension column. It goes vertical. At that point, you're over and done with Earth School. It's not a difficult thing to do. It takes focus, it takes intent, it takes desire, it takes commitment, it takes dedication, but it's not a difficult thing to do. It takes removing yourself from playing in the 3D games. You know, somebody sent me a post the other day talking, about somebody that's newly waking up saying, oh, we have all this abundance now, we're supposed to be going out and having a good time on planet. Well, yes, going through your ascension process is going to be a great time, because the more you go through it, the more magical everything is. But the focus on having to go out and make money and have all the material stuff and the party, where's your focus? If your focus is out there rather than in here, then you're going to be slowing down your commitment to your ascension process. Only by being focused in here can you go ever into that center. Like I've said before, it's like, here's your bullseye. You're shooting that center of that bullseye, the sacred spot of your heart, and then you're expanding it with light, magnifying it, and you'll see that same little center target, that same little bullseye, and you're shooting the center of it again and again. And the more you shoot that bullseye, the greater your light field, the greater your current, your wattage is going to be. The greater levels of your higher self you're going to be able to integrate the physical vessel. And you ain't going to do it unless you're grounded. You got to be grounded to Mother Earth, and you got to be grounded to the cosmos. You got to have a direct line both ways. It is about polarity. And everything in this universe is about polarity. The only thing that's not is the singularity of all that is. Anything else has polarity. We are here to experience polarity. We're here to be creators. We're here to balance the energies. We're here to go through our ascension process. We're here to bring Mother Earth through her ascension process. We're here to bring as many of the collective humanity that can wake up and decide that they wish to be creators themselves, and they're going to take responsibility. We're here to help them through their ascension process. We can't do it for anybody. Mother Earth's about ourselves, and Mother Earth is about the only thing we can do it for. Oh man. And just be a way shower and show the way. most everything, if you want to be in the brain game, most everything about the ascension process is really logical. It's a mechanically technical process. It's technique. It's a step-by-step process. And that is going to be the same. The transfiguration of the physical vessel is going to be the same for each and every one of us. You can't do it. You cannot change the body into light other than by step-by-step procedure. You can't integrate more light and go through the next levels without removing the negativity, without changing your thought processes, your belief systems, and allowing more light to come in its place. Rona Herman, in her May issue, was talking about Archangel Michael, talking about removing the dark negative crystals. I've mentioned that for years. If you go back in my videos about 3 years ago, I was working with Daniela Breen, removing those dark God particles. Because it took that for polarity. It took that so that we could experience the lower levels of separation. And see, that's what this has been all about. There's many persons that are newly waking out there and playing with the astral channeling, and they say, well, we had the ability to go through our ascension process in Lemuria. We had it, the ability to go through in Atlantis, but really it was all about descending. Those times were about getting as far separate from source as we could, so we could have that Earth School experience, what it's like to be separate from source. And right now it's all about the reintegration, the opposite, the remembering who we are, and the reintegration with those higher levels of self. We're just going back up the ladder the same way that we came from. And we're transfiguring the physical vessel as we do. That's not always very comfortable. Like I've said, it's kind of fatiguing on me this past month, as fast as we've been running through this process. At least I've been running through the process. Not everybody is going through the same thing as I am. Some of us are. And many persons who can relate to what I'm saying, we all seem to be, for the most part, on the same page. There's some persons that can't comprehend what we're saying. They think we're crazy. We're not crazy, but we are going through a process that sooner or later, everybody that's choosing to go through the physical ascension is going to get. Physical ascension and transfiguration of the vessel into a light being is going to go through if you're taking this one with you. So, this is a tool. This is not Bill Ballard. I mean, Bill Ballard is even the ego personality that's inhabiting it this lifetime. But what is animating those energies that I'm integrating with is the real me. That is my Mana, my angelic self. It is my Archangel Michael self. It is my Metatron self. It is my Prime Creator self. That's what's integrating into this physical vessel and hit me at the atomic levels. I mean, down to the atoms within this physical vessel. Not just the cells, the atoms. There is no part of this body that's not vibrating and spinning. And it's like I'm a walking, talking gyroscope, but where you see a gyroscope maybe in 3D where you've got one going this way, one going that way, and then a bigger one all around that. Well, think about multiple layers past that. That's what the sensations are within this physical vessel that starts off at the atomic level, and then you have 100 trillion atoms within each cell that are all spinning and vibrating and acting like a little chakra, and then each cell is like its own little micro universe, like the Milky Way galaxy going on, and then all the various cells. I mean, if you looked at my organs, each one are like quadrants within the universe, and they're all in certain vibrations, and then they're all making up the whole. And the whole is all that is, which is the physical vessel, which is, my universe. And you're walking around in yours, and everybody's walking around in theirs, and everything is walking around in its own, and then we're all within the same one, and there's more within the atoms within this body all the way down as they are going to the outside. It's a never-ending process. Every part of my vessel is lighting up. There's just no way to describe it. And when we have so much frequency increase like we've had this April, 3 full notes in 1 month. All the spiritual distillation that's going on within this physical vessel. And the thing is I experience what I'm feeling on the inside, I also see on the outside. The same distillation that's going on through here, it's me that keeps me from just not from turning into light immediately and beaming out of here. We see it on the outside. It's just like what Team Dark's doing with the monitoring of global media. I mean, any of the little brain chatter that still goes on with this head means that I'm not fully within my heart. And what I do is as I have that occurring, I'm realizing I'm not fully into here. And so I find that center point, I go in, and then boom, I hit another higher level. I hope that makes sense. And all the stuff that goes on the outside is a result of the purging from the inside. Personally, my life is in a state of perfection. I'm witnessing a lot of what's going on the outside. I've seen a lot of fights. I've seen a lot of people's anxiety. I've seen a lot of egos. I know that whatever that is I see out there is a reflection of me in some way. It's not necessarily that I've got a lot of brain chatter going on, or I've got anything that's negative within my being, but still the outside is a reflection of the inner purging. Yeah. I know people that haven't come to that point in their ascension have a difficult time understanding that the outside is a result of their exterior experience, as a result of their own inner reflection playing out on the outside. I know a lot of people can't grasp that yet, but it's a fact. I have a feeling that with 3 full notes happening in 1 month like this, see, before it was even happening about every month and a half, every 2 months. That's what was going on these past couple of years. We'd hit a new note every couple of months, maybe every full moon, or every, whenever we'd have a flare bursting in. But this is 3 full notes within 1 month. Going that fast, I have no idea what we're going to witness this summer. This is going to be quite interesting. We're not done with all the astrological events by any long shot. Even persons that say it's going to tone down, yeah, for how long? We're not there yet. It's going to be very interesting to witness what happens these next months. Well, anyway, it's Sunday here, and I'm headed back up to Tennessee and prepare for ceremony with Marilyn and Melissa and James and Deborah and whoever else shows up. We've got something else interesting that's going on up there on the summer solstice. There's at the Civil Rights Museum in Memphis, there's going to be a peace flame lit there, and the peace flame is going to be brought out to Heart of Turtle Island, to the farm. And from my understanding from James, and he's going to have to correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like this is changing over and over all the time, there's a gathering of many Native American tribes and chiefs and shaman and probably sacred grandmothers, the Rainbow Tribe, on June 21st there. And I have the understanding that the peace flame is going to be lit into a torch, something that you can carry, a lantern that you can carry it, and that it's coming to be passed throughout the chiefs and taken back to their tribes. And we're going to be doing ceremony at Heart of Turtle Island. Um, from my understanding, one of the relights of that flame is going up to Oregon and then down to California, and the Dalai Lama is going to be receiving it and lighting an eternal flame with that same flame that's coming from the Civil Rights Museum that will be broadcast out from Heart of Turtle Island and go out there for an eternal flame. I haven't got all the details yet. I don't have internet capability at the farm in Tennessee yet. That's going to be that, and getting a solar jack water pump and water system installed is going to be one of my first things to do after we do these first ceremonies. We've got to start building that area, and so anyway, until then, I don't know when I'm going to get another video out, but that is my goal. I've been gathering the resources I needed to do just that. All I had to do, some people are talking about how they've got to go gather up all this monetary abundance and then be able to decide what they wish to do. I'm one who says, okay, I need to do these things, and I do my research and find out how much it costs, and then all of a sudden, through work, but work is provided for me to gather the income needed to pull off the projects. And I am at that point now of having all the resources I need to pull off all the projects that I wish to do this summer before wintertime hits at the farm. So anyway, I'll be headed up this week, taking my last load of tools and my plasma cutters and some welders and another small lathe and those types of things, and then setting up to get water set up, solar jack water pumps, and getting that ball rolling. There's a lot to do, and as I'm seeing in my vision going on here, all the things to do, I could be talking about that for a long time. But once I get internet set up, I'll probably start uploading some videos and keeping everybody caught up with all the ceremonies and what we're doing up there. I'll probably do one before June 21st, and anybody who feels called to participate with the peace flame lighting or the larger ceremony that'll be going out to Heart of Turtle Island, and with the understanding that a lot of the Rainbow Tribe will be camping out on the land as the gathering is occurring, and all the Native Americans are coming together there in Memphis to have that gathering for solstice. I'm at the understanding that a lot of persons are wanting to camp out on the land, so anybody who feels called, private message me or contact James Brown on Facebook, and he'll give you all the details. Me, once I get out and onto the farm, I'm focusing on one thing, and that's getting everything going. I got a lot to do. Anyway, I'm out of here. I'm going for a long bike ride after I take my computer back home. Love you all. Happy Wesak. Hold the energies. Ground them in Mother Earth. That's how we neutralize. These negativities have to be released from the planet. But it is those of us who, through our holding of higher light and frequencies, we're like a wave baffle. That's exactly what we're doing. We're stopping the larger releases from unfolding. It's interesting to be here in a direct line of where those earthquakes happened yesterday, and not too far off the New Madrid fault, but the earthquakes didn't hit here. They hit about 200 miles north of here, and every 200 miles all the way up to Michigan. So we, those of us who are consciously doing this kind of work, we stop more dramatic things from happening. It's just like what I've mentioned many times about the Gulf oil spill, and how there was a perfect semicircle from 25 miles to the west of us at Bay St. Louis to 25 miles at the east of us, out 12 miles out past Ship Island. There was a perfect semicircle right here where I was focusing my energy out. And I know other people were out meditating too up and down the beach, but right here I'd come every day, and it was a perfect semicircle with this at the vortex where the oil never came through. It's all about focusing energy and intent. Depending on how much light and frequency you hold and how long you can hold the intent, that's what it is. That's how we baffle all the negativity going on. That's how we do our light work. Light work is focusing energy. There are many of the vegan persons, the food Nazis that came down on me, said I'm not a light worker because I'm not interested in being a vegan and animal rights and stuff. Being an activist is not necessarily being a light worker. There are many light workers who are activists. I'm an activist, but a light worker is somebody who takes that energy within themselves, that light within themselves, and they grow it and they expand it and they focus it. They're here on a mission to focus their energies on Mother Earth, on the collective of humanity. And in that process, we go through our process of ascension. That's what a light worker is. It's not an activist. There are many of us who are activists, though. Anyway, there's a difference between ascension and light work and belief systems. It's a very great difference when you're in the higher levels. It's as different as what ego means. And ego in the lower levels is when you're all self-absorbed in your vein. You know, it's all about self-service. And in the higher levels, in fifth and sixth dimensional understanding, ego is just the persistent identification within of self within this lifetime. You know, you're identifying with your personality and who you are within this lifetime rather than your higher levels of self. That's what ego is to me. So anyway, blah blah blah. Love y'all. I'm out of here. Have a wonderful Wesak and full moon ceremonies, and we shall see you on the flip side.